Hi, Josh Barker with RE/MAX Town & Country Real Estate. Thank you for checking out our market update for the month of June 2018. Like I like to do each month, let's go ahead and bring in the sales report for the Shasta County Multiple Listing Service. This is for the month of May, and what it does is it tracks down the amount of properties that have sold. We also like to track the amount of new inventory coming to market just to get a good feel for what's happening in the local market. So I'm going to zoom in and circle this for you in red. Last month there were 290 properties that closed escrow here in Shasta County. Now if we go back just 1 year ago, there was 279 properties that closed escrow. So our sales have increased by just over 3% compared to last year. Now I'm going to put a slide right over the top of that. And on this slide, what it does is it shows you the active listings by price range. And the same thing, I'm going to go ahead and circle this for you. There was 1,071 properties that actually came on the market or are currently for sale on the market here in Shasta County. Now, if we go back to just 1 year ago, there was 999. So our active inventory for sale has increased by just over 6% year over year. Now, the final piece I'd like to touch base on would just be the actual days on market, how long it takes a homeowner from when they go for sale on the multiple listing service to the point in which they close escrow and they no longer own the home. For the month of May, it was 84 days on market. And a year ago, it was 97 days on market. So we've actually had a decrease in days on market by over 13% year over year. So it just means that the market's moving a little faster than it did last year. Now, the next thing I'd like to talk about is just mortgage interest rates. Everybody's probably heard by now that interest rates are beginning to move up. The thing is that people haven't really, believed it until now. We've been hearing for years that interest rates were going to start to move up. And year after year, they, for the most part, remain relatively the same. Now, what we've seen lately is that interest rates have continued to stay on that trajectory moving up, as you can see on the slide I'm showing you. The concern that we have is that if buyers don't pay close attention to what is happening with interest rates, you might find yourself priced out of the market if you're not careful. And what I mean by that is that for every 1% that the interest rate increases, it can have an impact on a purchasing power by almost 10%. So for example, imagine a buyer's qualified for a home at $300,000. And let's say that rate at the time when they were qualified was 4%. If that interest rate moves up to 5%, that same buyer is going to be qualified just over $270,000, which is obviously going to change the types of homes that are available to purchase as a result. So that just kind of gives you an idea of what the impact is on interest rates in our local market. Now, as rates are moving up, we're also seeing the availability of financing begin to become more available. In fact, the slide I'm going to show you now represents what the availability of financing looked like back in the housing boom, okay? You can see how high that point is on that slide. Then when the market started to correct and adjust and go down rapidly, you can see how quickly they tightened down the availability of financing. And now you can begin to see that it's starting to trend up. It's nothing like it was back in 2005 and 6, but you can see that lenders are beginning to loosen the guidelines as they raise the interest rates in order to attempt to keep the buyer market the same in terms of demand versus supply. The final thing just to talk about is just the availability for rental houses. I talk about this frequently. As you can see in the slide I'm going to provide you, that rental market is still, it's so tight. Right now, if you go out and look for a place to rent, you're going to find that you're competing against multiple tenants in many cases. There's just not as many rentals available as there have been in the past, and so you're starting to see rent rates continue to rise. The availability of rentals is pretty darn tight, and overall, it's a tough experience for a tenant that's out there shopping. So if you're a homeowner and you're thinking about selling your home and just moving into a rental for a period of time, keep that in mind, because you're going to want to do your research now and make sure there's properties that are available for you to rent as an overall, to your relocation process. Just check into it. So in any case, if you have any other questions on what's happening here in Shasta County real estate, we're always here to help. Thanks for your time today. Have a great day.